Hello and welcome to Real with Haley. Today I want to talk to you about your wealth or your personal finances or debt, paying off debt, those types of things. I'm starting a series where we're looking at your wealth, your wellness, and your walk, your Christian walk as ladies who follow Christ. And as an introduction to this series, I kind of wanted to share some things with you guys. We're going to talk about like my personal stories. We're going to talk about my journey up until this point. We're going to talk about helpful tips to you as far as paying off debt, building wealth, side hustling. Today's economy is a tough one. And so we are going to delve deeper into that and how we can, make it through this life. Helpful tips, helpful tools that I use and have learned to use along the way to help me, to help our family, as far as paying off debt. We own a small business. I can even incorporate some of that stuff as far as how you build a small business, how it is set up, those sorts of things. But we're going to be talking about, meal planning for a family and how that can save you money. Shopping at the grocery store, ways to cut corners there. When can you eat out? And sometimes it's just easier to eat out. And so I think that can kind of get away from us. Those expenses can as a family, ball games, extracurricular activities, when it's almost expected that you eat out on certain nights. And we just don't have it in our budget sometimes to do that. So how we work through those sorts of things. Where do you cut expenses in your budget, right? So that is one of the things we're going to be touching on. What is a budget? How do you make a budget? If you haven't ever heard of Dave Ramsey, he's somebody that I would say that I'm a Dave Ramsey-ish person. I'm not super strict Dave Ramsey, but he does have some very good principles as far as paying off debt and building wealth. So we'll be talking about that some too. So I think you have to get to a point in your life where you are just sick and tired of debt. Okay, you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, as Dave Ramsey says. And I feel like I've gotten to that point so many different times in my life, but it takes just being mad almost and buckling down and doing it. Okay, so you cannot be I think I'm going to pay off debt. I think this month I'm going to, pay down some debt. No, you have to buckle down and do it. You have to be committed to it. You have got to make it a habit in your life to strictly stick to something in order to pay off this debt, okay? So we're going to be talking about that as well. Going at gazelle intensity. There's a verse in the Bible that talks about that. I think it's in Proverbs. I don't have it right now, but I will talk about it on social. So if you don't follow me on like TikTok, YouTube, here, subscribe, Instagram, and Facebook, do that. I'll be sharing that verse later. But with gazelle intensity, meaning like we have to get it done. We have to pay it off. The Lord talks about in the Bible how it's not good to be a debtor, right? Like, because we shouldn't owe people anything really. And so, but that's part of, I think, American culture, the consumer culture, and we've kind of just grown accustomed to that. And so there's that side of it. One of my mantras for myself is pay off and stay off credit cards, because I cannot be trusted with a credit card. I can't. I have proven that time and time again to myself. I was in a store the other day and they asked me if I wanted to open a credit card, and I was like, no, I'm good. You can save 20%. I'm like, no, I can't be trusted with a credit card. And they're like, oh, okay. I mean, just be honest with people. And then last month, I paid off a $6,000 credit card bill in 1 month. How did I do that? First of all, if you haven't subscribed to my podcast, go to realwithhaley.com. We're going to be talking next week about the whole topic is how I paid off $6,000 in credit card debt in 1 month. Okay. But to give you kind of the overview of that, I did it by buckling down and working my side hustle really hard. I'm a nurse practitioner. I have a job on the side that I can make extra money on. And so I just buckled down, committed to it, and put in the hours necessary to make the extra money to pay off that debt. It was around an additional 20 hours per week on top of my full-time job already. But I just got sick of looking at that credit card bill every day. And I got sick of looking at it, and I said, you know what? I want this to go away, and I'm going to do what I need to this month to make it go away. And I did. But next week on this series on your wealth on YouTube, we are going to dig into cutting expenses out of your month, out of your budget, and meal planning. Okay? So make sure you hit subscribe and join me next week as we talk about how to cut expenses that you have in your month right now. Maybe monthly bills, your electric bill, your water bill, your things that come out monthly. Where we can find to cut expenses in your monthly budget. And we're going to talk about meal planning and how you can incorporate that into your life if you haven't already to assist in lowering your grocery bill. Okay? I want you to hit subscribe so you don't miss a thing.